sword of omens. Give me sight beyond sight. Beyond sight. Beyond sight.
Act like you care.
Booga booga.
Actually, you should put him there.
All right. So what I introing now?
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah.
Let's go. Crash Bandicoot. All right. It's Sight Beyond Sight. You already know. It's Andrew, the fucking retard with Crash. Partner in crime here. Pointing over is the other bald guy. His name is Nick. And then right down there, which is kind of weird, but yeah, down there.
I'm not bald. I actually have hair.
She's not bald though.
Today.
She brings the hair. Samson hair. Nah, it's Marissa. You already know. It's Sight Beyond Sight. Nothing but silliness and real talk at the same time. How y'all guys doing today?
Good.
Good.
What you said, Nick?
I thought he was talking to the people listening.
No, you moron. He's talking to you.
Nah, I don't talk to the people. I don't even see them. Like,
right?
yeah, that fourth wall doesn't exist for me.
Oh shit! Yeah. So today we're gonna have a couple movies, a documentary, and the She-Hulk show that we're gonna talk about. So Marissa, hit us off with the first thing that we're gonna talk about today.
All right. So we're going to talk about Sandman, which I think Nikki would be the closest thing to an expert on comic book things. But I went in as never even hearing of the Sandman as a comic before until I started watching the show. So it starts off with the main character, Sandman, obviously, being captured by some dude, some rich dude, in a capsule for whatever the fuck reason, because he doesn't want to die or whatever.
He had a son that died, and he wants to, he wants to not be able to die.
Yeah, he tried to get the god of death, but he fucked up. Or the god of death probably tricked the Sandman somehow, and he got captured instead of the god of death.
You could just call her Death. That's what her name is.
Oh, Death. Whatever the fuck. But one thing I have to say before Nikki gets into more of the deeper stuff of the show is the actor who plays Sandman. There were some times I'm like, oh wow, he's really good, and there are other times I'm like, is he high right now?
Probably was.
Like he's like looking off into space and not knowing what's going on, and he does this weird thing with his face, like he goes.
Yeah, that's just his. I think that's just his face. Yeah.
Well, it looked ridiculous a lot of the time. I'm like, what is he doing? I don't understand. And I guess gods are supposed to be like ambiguous, I guess. But at the same time, I'm like, dude, what? What's that face? I don't know what that face is. Like, it's annoying. Yeah. But then he would like say something or do something. I'm like, okay, I could kind of forgive this. Like, it was watchable, but there were certain times where I'm like, I can't look at his face. Does that make sense? Am I being?
Yeah. Sometimes you just want to punch somebody in the face.
Yeah, the way they look.
Yeah. What was it? More Step Brothers? There's something about you.
Yeah, it's so punchable. But Nikki, you could go on and expound more about the story.
So one of the guys tries to capture him. This is the very beginning. He tries to capture Death, but he ends up getting Sandman instead. And he's kind of mad that he didn't get Death because he's trying to be immortal. And he just captures him, and he's saying, hey, if you give me Death, or you give me your power, or you give me immortality, I'll let you go. And, he's basically a god, like a deity, so he's not going to give him mortal person.
I'll outlive you 10,000 times.
Yeah, and which it kind of showed. But since he's the god of dreams, once they captured him, a lot of things happened in the world. Like some people couldn't sleep, some people couldn't wake up, and it was like a weird thing, and it happened for like tens of years. I'm not sure, like 20, 30 years. Yeah, 30,
because his son, who felt bad for him, you thought would release him, but he wound up deciding not to. From whatever, like the reason felt very thin to me. of why he wouldn't release him. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
at the same time, it was just like it's almost like like we don't negotiate with terrorists.
Yeah.
He almost took that kind of stance. Like no matter what you do or what you say, I don't give a
Yeah.
shit. Let me the fuck out of here. And I
Yep.
think because he didn't yield when the guy wanted him to yield, he kind of just left him
Yeah.
in there. Even
Yeah.
though he didn't really want to do that. He just, he's like, you're not, meeting me halfway. And I'm like, he's a fucking god.
Yeah. Exactly. He doesn't
Halfway.
have
Like,
to.
what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Like you want him to negotiate with you? What? Like you have nothing.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly. And
but then by that time, it's like more modern times because before that
yeah.
it was like, it was
Yeah.
maybe
Well,
like,
you gotta. Yeah. It seemed really early. Like these, I think the comic book was written in the late '80s, early '90s. So in the comic book, certain things are what's modern to them isn't really modern to us. That kind of thing.
yeah.
But yeah. So after they captured him, when they first captured him, he had an amulet, a helmet, and his pouch of sand. So they at those three things give him power. So once he eventually gets out, because obviously he does, he kind of fixes the world. He goes back to the dreaming, which is his like realm,
Realm.
and he seems like he like all the dreams are gone, and only a few people were there left.
And now to
Um,
explain, like dreams were like characters. So like there was
yeah,
different parts of dreams that it's not like he controlled all of the dreaming. He had like people who actually did other things.
yeah,
So
but he controlled it all, like because that's his
right, but
creation.
I mean like there were other beings that
Yeah, yes,
had jobs in the whole
yes,
dream realm.
yes.
Yeah,
So
and one of them decided since he was gone, fuck you, I'm out.
yeah, that's the Corinthian. He's the nightmare.
Yeah,
He was created to be a nightmare, whatever. So once he got captured, Dream got captured, and all that stuff, a lot
he's
of
like I'm
dreams
going ham.
left.
He's like I'm giving everybody the nightmare.
Yeah, and I don't know. His kingdom was kind of like in disarray. So
Mhm.
he doesn't have enough power yet to rebuild because he needs his helmet, his pouch, and his amulet. So just like in the comic books, he goes to hell first because he knows that a demon stole his helmet.
Mhm.
Now, in a comic book, it's in the DC universe, and this is something that I think Andrew would like. Once he goes to hell, the guy that's rhyming, the guy that meets him at the gate, he's supposed to be Etrigan in the comic
Oh,
book.
we're yeah.
Yeah, so that's why in the show he's rhyming like Etrigan would rhyme.
Mhm.
But I guess with that character and a couple others in the show, they couldn't really use DC characters for some reason. I don't know why. But so he goes into hell. He sees, and this would be a good part if they made a season two. He sees like a past love that was in hell, and he stops and he looks at her, and if you notice that he changed form,
Mhm. That
and
was
they
kind of cool.
explain that people see him as they want to, so it's not really him like shape
But it makes
shifting.
sense though. It kind of makes sense. It's like just like in your dreams.
Yeah.
You
It's,
know what I
it's
mean? Like
yeah,
you don't necessarily see things the way you would necessarily want to see them. It's just how your unconscious mind kind of develops those things.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And
So
it really like had me thinking about my dreams a lot. And Nikki, I have the weirdest fucking dreams. I do.
yeah.
I have the weirdest fucking dreams. And lately, I've had dreams. This is the first time ever where I'm not physically me. I don't look like me. I look like somebody completely different.
Yeah.
So it's kind of fucking weird.
Things are gonna
Um,
transform.
Yeah.
yeah, like I had a dream that I was in high school, but like I didn't look like me. Like I was I don't even know. Like, and there
Maybe
was like, it was just
may-
some weird dreams. But
maybe
it
like a
had
past
me thinking
life.
of, yeah. But it had me thinking like the way that they describe like the different like nightmares and the different beings that like control all the dreams and stuff.
Yeah.
It was kind of an interesting thing because you don't always have the same type of dreams. So, like some dreams are more like nightmares, like you said, but then there are more magical
fairy, like
fantasizing
yeah,
kind of
fantasy.
dreams. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
don't know how to say that. But more pleasant, like, like this is wonderful dreams. And then you have the more realistic, like life dreams, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So like I thought it was interesting that they kind of went with the different characters with that.
Yeah.
But then when he went into hell and he saw that girl and like obviously like
they know each other. In the comic books, they expound on that, but I don't know if they expound on it at the moment. But that the same concept happens because I guess the demon's trying to show him like Lucifer's playing a trick, like, oh, we have the girl that you once loved in there, or whatever.
Yeah.
And basically, that's another story for the comic books that he was walking around as a mortal, like just as a mortal human or whatever, and he fell in love with her, but as you could see at the end of the show, there's others. They call them the endless. Dream is part of it. There's dream, death, desire, despair, destiny, and I think destruction, and delusion. So that's like
Delusion
the whole
is
family.
a good one. That they could do so much with Delusion.
Yeah, that will. I don't know if they're gonna have any more seasons, unfortunately, but
I don't understand why. Did it not do well?
It wasn't as popular either.
I don't think
not
they
as popular as they
promoted it
wanted.
very much either, though. I didn't see.
No, it wasn't hated, but it wasn't as popular as they needed to be, I guess.
But DC is also doing a revamping. Like even they just said now
DC
that
just does
Aquaman and Shazam are getting pushed back more.
Yeah.
They might be deleted. You know, who knows? But
they're doing a secret screening of Batwoman. Like only a select few going to see it.
Is that the one that they canceled it? Yeah.
Yeah, they only doing. They're doing a secret.
I feel
viewing.
like DC has no idea what the fuck they're doing. It seems like
they haven't been
there.
They haven't
because
been.
I wish I can like say, hey, Sandman was done really well. You had good actors.
Yeah.
Like the cinematography was
that's not.
well
but
done.
that the thing is that that's not really their fault either. It's Warner Brothers for being in debt for $5 billion and then having Discovery come and buy them out of their debt. And Discovery is like, guess what? Now I'm making my money back. So we cutting off all your trash. And that's what they're basically doing.
But I think at the same time too, it's one of those things of like, I don't think they gave it enough time to show what it could do. And like I said, I had no idea that it was coming out. I had no idea anything about the show. I just happened to have seen it. Like, and I'm like, oh, let me check this out.
Yeah.
I had no idea what it was about. But that's the only way that I saw it. Marvel markets the shit out of their stuff. You will see on
people
Facebook.
Have a problem with that. People always have a problem with that too.
But that's how Marvel does so well.
Yeah.
You see it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, fucking commercials, billboards. You see it
it's everywhere.
All the place. DC does not do unless it's a big cinematic event. But all the little things make Marvel money too. WandaVision. She-Hulk is probably going to do well because of the way they marketed it. There's so many things that DC should learn from Marvel and they don't. Because I think Sandman overall was a pretty decent show.
It was.
Well, I do too. Like I said, a lot of it followed the comic books like on point.
Yeah.
There were a couple of things that weren't.
Yeah. But I know that you appreciate that.
Yeah. So even going back to what I was saying, they do that little scene with the girl, then they go and talk. He talks to Lucifer and says like, this demon has my helmet, and they do that little battle of like, I guess it's like a battle of wits more than whatever. But in the comic book, he has the battle with the demon, not Lucifer. In the show, he had it with Lucifer, and I'm trying to figure out, are they going with like that? Like, is Lucifer going to be mad? Like trying to be mad at him for they're going to do something with that?
Because Lucifer is spiteful.
Yeah.
So they want to make it more of like now Lucifer has a reason to go after him.
Yeah.
Because she's butthurt over it. Mm-hmm. But I kind of liked it because it reminded me of Bill and Ted when they had to battle death in order to live again. Remember?
Oh yeah, when
all the different games.
Battleship.
That That's what it reminded me of. Because and then it was like it was intellectual, but it physically hurt them, which is funny.
Mhm.
Yeah, because everything they were saying, like I'm a snake and I have venom and all that stuff. So to me, yeah, that was interesting too.
Yeah, I like that. And the imagery and all that stuff. I thought it was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he gets
and I like the actress from Game of Thrones. What is her name?
Yeah.
I don't remember her name, but she played the fucking female knight.
Yeah, that was a another character switch because in the comic books, Lucifer is obviously a man.
Yeah.
I don't know why they
it doesn't
switched
matter.
it.
But like I said,
that was Andrew. But yes. But that was another switch in the comic book. And I think actually in the comic, well, I'll give it away. In the comic book, Lucifer actually leaves hell, and that's why the Lucifer show, the TV show, that's what the comic book is based on after he leaves hell with the Sandman story. So
yeah, I was
very
forced to
interesting.
watch episodes of that show. That was garbage.
Yeah.
People like that show apparently.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it has mad seasons.
It does, but it's a CB11 show, so you know.
Oh, okay.
Type of audience that watches.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Lucifer, I don't know, it's weird.
Yeah,
but
no, that's bad funny that because everybody is like like CW has like this one fan base that just keeps them going.
Yeah,
it's huge. See, everybody likes like all the shows that they had on that. And what's funny is when CB11 first started, it was shows like Living Single and what was the other one? It was Living Single. No, I want to say Mr. Cooper, but that's not right.
No, I think Mr. Cooper was on TGI Friday.
Yeah. I forgot what, but they had all these like black shows, and then all of a sudden it changed up, and then became like One Tree Hill and Gilmore Girls. And,
well, they.
You know what I mean?
I remember Channel 11 having like Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx.
Brothers.
I was gonna say after the Wayans brothers, then it went super white.
Yeah,
for some reason,
pretty much that's what happened. Like they just really went to like Seventh Heaven ish and all of that.
Yeah. All that garbage. Yeah.
Oh shit. So I'll just fast forward it. He ends up finding each story has its own thing. After the helmet with Lucifer, he goes. It's supposed to be John Constantine, not the girl Constantine, which was a weird thing.
Well, because they wanted a love interest for him, and that was the way to a love interest.
No,
that's what I was thinking.
No, because the whole thing, John Constantine in the comic book, just like this Constantine gave the girlfriend the sand, and it was like a drug to her, and that's why she looked the way she looked. Like she was half dead and all the stuff. And Sandman gave her a good send off, like a good dream and all of that. The next thing was the amulet, which I really like that story because even in the comic books it was brutal when the guy goes. That character was supposed to be a DC character called like Dr. Midnight or something, where he actually had the amulet to mess with people's minds.
Yeah.
So he gets out of.
Oh, that was the diner guy, right?
Yeah, the diner guy.
Dude, the actors that they got to do certain things.
Yeah.
Like I didn't mind the female Constantine because she was kind of a bitch, just like Constantine's kind of a dick. So I kind of like it kind of played the same for me. Like it didn't go to like, oh, I'm a girl and I'm like a fucking useless piece of shit, you know. So I was happy. I wasn't annoyed with that. You know what I mean? No.
To be honest, because there were quite a few like gender and race swaps, but I was just like, it doesn't matter. Like it didn't matter because nothing.
It wasn't forced. It wasn't like
nothing really mattered to, to the story about anything like that. Like
because it kept
the Constantine one, the Constantine one, I was a little bugged at because I want to see John Constantine. I like that character.
But everybody wants to see Keanu as that.
Not really.
I like Keanu as Constantine.
I do too, but I would like to see somebody
with the Australian accent.
Yeah.
Like he hates his life. The realness.
Yeah, the one from the cartoon.
Yes.
The Justice League cartoon. No, was it the Justice League cartoon?
Well, he's in one. He
wasn't in Justice League.
He was in the Dark Justice League cartoon, and then he has his own.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, that was a good series. I like that one.
Yeah.
But and that's the only thing DC does right. Their animated shit is really good.
Animated,
Yeah.
they're on point for the most part.
Yeah.
But
So but the other thing I like too, which we haven't touched on, the librarian. I like her.
well, I'll get to her too.
Yeah.
But
But yeah, I like the librarian, and then the guy in the diner. It almost reminded me of what was that movie with the angels that came?
oh, I know what you're talking about. That stupid horror movie.
I
Damn
liked
it.
it.
Ah,
I
I
can't
forgot
remember.
what it was called.
Yes, but it was like the guy. He was an angel, and then the other angel was coming to fucking fight him, and like all
Yeah.
these demons came up, and
Oh, I think I know what movie you're talking about now.
yeah.
I don't know
We're
the
in a
name of it
diner.
either, but I know what movie
But
you're
it
talking
was
about.
all set in the diner. It was
Yeah.
just in the
Yeah,
diner.
yeah, they didn't go nowhere. It was just in that one room.
Yeah. So that I kind of enjoyed the whole diner because I didn't know where he was going with, and like the fact that he like that lady that he kidnapped to drive him.
Yeah.
She's from another show that I watched called oh my god, what's the name of it? It's the one about the American that goes over to England to coach soccer.
I don't know. I don't know that one.
Jesus Christ, I can't think.
I do. I have that happens to me all the damn time.
But she's from that show, and when I saw her, I was like, oh, I really like her.
Yeah.
But he's also British too, because he's from the
Yeah.
Harry Potters.
Yeah.
So it was kind of interesting. Oh, they stuck the British actors together, you know?
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
the
I think
whole
I'm not sure if the writer is British. He might have been. He might be
Oh.
British. I don't know.
but that explains it because they tend to hire, you know, a lot of because this I think this is like the second American thing that she's done. But I liked the whole car ride, especially with the
Yes.
dog.
Yeah, and him explaining the lying. Like I think you're a good person. I just don't like to lie, and then explaining why people lie, and then I'd like that conversation too.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that happened at comic book. I know the ride did, but I don't know if that actual conversation happened.
And then who was that supposed to be again?
He's an actual DC villain. I think Dr. Midnight, something like that. But he
Yeah,
had
well, what did they give him? What was the name they gave him for the show?
I don't even know.
And who was his mom? Because I remember I was like, I recognized it.
His mom was just basically nobody. Like I think he was just like a mama's boy kind of thing.
Yeah, but I don't know. I recognized who he was as a character. The name that they gave him, I was like, oh, that's weird.
Yeah, I'm not sure because I'm not sure what Dr. Midnight's actual name is.
Yeah.
But
that whole ride was very cool. Like I liked that whole back and forth. And then when he was in the diner, at first I was like, where is this going?
Yeah.
And then it got really fucking weird.
Yeah, with people having sex and then eating each other and killing each other.
Oh my god, it got so fucking weird.
Crazy, yeah.
But
that's why I was surprised because when I saw that, and I think I said on the last podcast that when I was reading the comic book, I was kind of like, why is this getting so much praise, right? Because that's such a like it won awards. So I was just like, it's all right, I guess. And then re-watching this show, I was like, I actually really liked reading this story. Like, why was I kind of like on and off? But yeah, so far in this, the whole diner scene was one of my favorite things because I just liked the whole concept of he hates people lying. So he was just like, no, if you want to do that, do that. Like,
but it also shows the little lies that everybody lives with from day to day. Like for example, she says the waitress says to him, "Oh, you're handsome," something like that, right? Which is like something that like service people probably do just to get tips, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, "Why would you say that? You know I'm not handsome."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I thought like it was like an off-putting like statement that he made.
Yeah.
But the way she handled it was like weird, and I guess that has to do with the amulet.
Yeah.
But then he made her kind of like the center of all of the things that were happening. Yeah. So it was almost like he made her the vessel for like the truth to happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was interesting because, like, the guy who wanted to fucking eat the burger, for example, which is such a ridiculous thing, right? Like, he just wants a fucking burger, and his wife is like, you can't have the burger because you'll be fat.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to make you healthy. But it's really not that I'm trying to make you healthy. It's because I want to control you.
Yeah.
Because I'm a fucking control freak. So it becomes like this weird dynamic. And they have to keep repeating it until they tell the truth, which is fucking bizarre.
Yeah.
So you're just like, oh, we're watching this scene again. I don't understand. And then you watch it and you're like, oh, it's until everybody's completely honest.
Yes.
And then it gets fucking gross.
Yeah.
And then it's like people's, and then it becomes like those things that you push down because they're not appropriate. And then those things come up because it's like, yeah, it's your truth. Like, you might see somebody be like, oh my God, they're fucking hot, I want to fuck them. But you're never going to say that or act on it or do, you know, it's like something in your mind that happens, but he pulls all of that out.
Yeah, it makes you say it. It makes you do it. Like, no, if you want to do that, do that.
But it's, to me, it's almost bastardized because that may not be your full truth. It might be your truth for the moment.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean? Like, it might be a thought that passes, but not every thought that passes in your head is.
Yeah. Well, I think that's why the conversation of lies in the car had, and him having to think about it. Like, it's not always bad to lie. He's like, sometimes you lie to protect. When the girl's saying that, he's kind of like, makes sense, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
like
that all away.
What?
He stripped it all away.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that scene. I think that was the last thing he needed to do. Sandman. He got his stuff, all his stuff, and then he started recreating his little kingdom. But now, since I think it was 2 nightmares escaped, and then there was this what they call a nexus, I guess, with the like a dreaming nexus, and the story is really kind of messed up if you think about it because I forgot what they named her, but watching the show, the story. Like, she has a brother, they get separated, and then she gets old enough.
He has dreaming powers. She has dreaming powers, but they're both different dreaming powers.
Yeah, like, she doesn't know it and understand it, but like, he has to kill her for him to survive and the dreaming to survive because she's blending in reality with dreams, and she doesn't know that she's doing it. She doesn't know how to handle it because she doesn't know.
She's seeing other people's dreams too.
Yeah,
she's invading other people's dreams.
Yeah, and then taking him out sometimes too.
Yeah.
So you have that story, which leads into the Corinthian, which is the and actually both nightmares, because one of the nightmares has her brother, and is actually trying to help her brother by making him like a superhero every time he sleeps, because he's in a situation where his adopted parents are abusive, and she's trying to find her little brother. At the same time, it all interferes because she moves in to this weird house with all these weird characters, just like in a comic book.
Hostel. It's like a hostel.
Yeah, it's like a little hostel with all these weird characters, and they did good for the comic books, all the characters and how they are. Then she starts finding out where her brother is, and
finds out that she has an aunt, or her real mother
that's her great grandmother. And that's the part of the story, because again, it leads back to the beginning. Her great grandmother that she finds, because I think her mother dies, but her great grandmother's alive, and her great grandmother was one of the people that when Sandman got caught, she couldn't wake up. Apparently, in the show and in the comic book, they don't show it, but I think in the comic book they hint at it a little bit more. She basically got, R word. I don't know if I could say it on YouTube if I get flagged.
Oh, we'll do like your mom's house. They call it tots.
Grape? Oh.
No, they call them tots.
Okay. I heard other podcasters say grape instead of
grape.
Yeah. But she got graped in her sleep, and then ends up having a baby, and then again she went through all this.
I'm sorry. I thought I was thinking of another R word. Sorry.
No. But she
You can say raped.
no, you can't.
Yes, you
You
can
just
say.
gotta say trigger warning.
I thought you were saying retarded.
No. But
I mean, you already said it now, so it's like,
yeah.
Like you
So
said,
yeah.
nobody watches this anyway.
So yeah, she ends up getting raped. Then I'll say it, and then she has a baby and all this while she's sleeping. So she dreamed that I guess that she was having a kid, but then she woke up to realize she really did have a kid. Never knew the kid. So then she finds this Nexus girl that's her granddaughter, invites her to England, and then gives her money to go look for her brother because she wants
I
like a
still don't
family.
understand how she's rich. She's like filthy fucking rich. I don't.
Inheritance, probably some sort, but to find her brother, and she's kind of not playing. She keeps seeing Dream also because Dream is watching out for her because she's a Nexus and she's messing shit up. So go
But
find
he's
a brother.
also like no bullshit. Like I'm gonna fucking kill you because you keep fucking shit up. So
Yeah, yeah. So they go find her brother. Sandman gets one of the nightmares back, kills her, but kind of later in the show feels bad about it and brings her back to life. But then the Corinthian steals the brother, and that's the other nightmare. And they go to one of my favorite things in the comic book was the whole serial killer convention.
oh yeah,
I thought
that
that
was
was so
great.
cool.
They
And
had and it was called
cereal convention.
Cereal Convention, but
Yeah,
spelled like the cereal.
Like
the food.
cereal boxes. Yeah.
So they thought they were going to like a kids
cereal
convention.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, it's all like psychopath serial killers. It was hilarious.
Yeah, and it's so funny because when you watch the show, it's like the comic book because it's like they're all trying to say like, listen, the hotel can't know what we're doing.
Yeah.
We have certain rules, like nobody could be at this area at this time, no hunting on the ground, so you can't kill anybody around the area. And this is all like we're all just coming together because we're all, doing the same thing.
And then they found Nightmare because Nightmare has been killing people in real life.
Well, Corinthian. He
but
is
he's
a nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Corinthian's been killing people in real life and sucking out their eyeballs or something, or frying out their eyeballs or whatever the hell they're doing.
The Corinthian's eyes are teeth, so he will take the eyeballs out and eat the eyeballs with his eyeball teeth.
That sounds ridiculous.
Yeah, but it's pretty cool looking. Like that's why I like.
So they have him as like their guest speaker because they love him.
Yeah.
So, and in order to get him to do that, to get his attention, they do copycat murders. Okay. And then he shows up like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, these are like...
And they were like, oh, we're your biggest fans. Like, we want you to speak at our convention. And then all because they kind of gloat over him and become fanboys over him. He's like, oh, I'll do this. This is awesome. And then he becomes like a celebrity at this serial convention. Yeah, he like gives a speech and all kinds of shit. Yeah, it's so funny. And there's like all different. They have like all different name tags and stuff. And there's this one guy who's like a fat guy or whatever, and his name is Funland because he would molest little kids and kill them.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
I forgot some of their names, but then they revealed how like some of them like killed their people. Yeah. One of them was a doctor that just killed people on her surgical table or whatever.
Bed. There was the hunter guy that likes to like hunts people, and
what was the old guy, the nerdy dude? I forgot what he did.
The nerdy guy was the hunter.
No.
Yeah, he was the hunter. Yeah.
Oh.
He was the hunter. There was another white guy there too, but I forgot what he did. Because I thought the same thing.
There was one puppet guy too. Wasn't there a puppet guy?
I didn't see a puppet guy. I don't remember.
I don't know. It was like all kinds of weird stuff. And they all like when he had the little boy, when Corinthian had the little boy, he's like, listen, stay in your hotel room. Don't come out of your hotel room, because he knew as soon as he came out of the hotel room, it was on.
Well,
And
it was funny too because Corinthians stepped away for a little bit, and Funland, the little boy went up to Funland and talking to him, and Funland's all excited, like, yeah,
oh,
like blah 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 blah, and then
yeah.
Corinthians was just like, not yours, this is mine, and then they had to respect him, but you could tell Funland was like,
But then it
damn
got
it,
to a point where everybody was like, because when the sister got there, she was accompanied by an old British dude.
yeah.
And the old British dude has been in like so many, like you've seen him in so much shit. He's been in everything. Sorry, George is barking. But he like goes with her to like keep her company or whatever. And as soon as he gets there, he kind of feels what's going on. He's like, this is not. And then I think he sees Corinthian, right?
Yeah, because he knows he's part of the dreaming. He's like he's basically he's not a nightmare, but he's like a place in the dreaming. I think
Like
he was.
he's like when you dream about like pretty fields and fucking
Yeah, yeah.
rainforests and stupid
And
shit like that. He's
he
like
was
that.
he just wanted to know what it felt like
Be human.
to be human, whatever. That's
Yeah.
why he escaped, but he knows what the Corinthian looks like, and the Corinthian knows what he looks like. So he tried to stay away, and he left the
Yeah.
he left the place. Well,
Yeah.
that character, the big white character, um he bring the Nexus there to look for her brother because the Corinthian called her up, said, "I have your brother. We're at this convention, so come meet us at this hotel or whatever." What the Corinthian wants to do is he wants her to kill Dream so he could, be in, on Earth and killing people and being a serial killer like he is.
Yeah.
And because he knows that once he goes back to the dreaming, he's not going to be able to do it. He's just going to be a nightmare again.
Yeah.
So he brings her there. The bad guy leaves because he's scared, and he goes back to the dreaming to tell Morpheus where Corinthian is, and they basically go to the hotel room. Now, the Nexus comes out. I think I'm trying to figure out what happened. I think she's
Somehow,
looking around. Somebody's looking around.
no, somehow oh, during one of the conferences, all of the serial killers are in one conference room, and they're
Yeah.
told to close their eyes and to like, I don't know, do some weird metafucking thing, or I don't know what the hell it was, but they were all closing their eyes, and because she was there, the actual dreams were coming into fruition. So like she was walking through all these serial killers' dreams and their
Yeah.
dreams of killing people and how they killed people and stuff. And like her and her brother are freaking out.
Yeah,
Like,
because they
what
don't know
the
what's
hell
going
is
on. Yeah.
this? Yeah.
And then Morpheus, well, again, Dream, Morpheus, whatever you want to call him, he comes down, he helps him out, saves the day, kills Corinthian, and that's the end of that storyline. Then you have another storyline where him and Death are talking, and Death is his sister, and Death is showing what she does, right? Because I think Sandman is having his like problems, like why does he feel a certain way? Like he's not doing a good job or something like that. Like he doesn't know why he's feeling for humans and all this stuff, and then sees what Death does and how great she is. Like she went to like an old man's home, and the old man noticed like, oh my god, it's my time. He's like, let me just do one thing or say one thing, and then he was just like, you could take me. And she goes up, which was kind of heartbreaking, but she goes up to a baby's cage, a baby's crib, and picks up the baby. Like they're walking in people's houses and they're just walking around.
Yeah, she's just going around killing people.
Yeah,
Not
well,
killing people, but taking
taking their lives because that's just what she does. And she explains to them, like, this is just what we are. This is just what we do. It's not malicious. It's not to be kind. It's
But
not
see,
to
that's
be,
the thing about the show is there's so many storylines that run through.
yeah,
Because there's that one which is pretty short, but
very
one that I
short.
enjoyed was so at some point him and Death, which were buddy, they apparently were like BFFs. So
Well, they're brother and sister, but they're the favorite. out of
Yeah,
all
but
the
they're
siblings, they
BFFs,
like each other.
whatever.
Yeah,
So they show how way back in like the 1700s or whatever,
yeah,
they meet in a tavern, I guess you could call it. They're
yeah.
having a drink. They meet this dude, and for some reason they give this guy eternal life.
Well, because in the tavern, everyone's drinking and shit, and he says death is bullshit.
Yeah,
Like everyone dies because they think they're gonna die. Well, I'm never gonna die. So Sandman, Dream looks at death and says, like, hey, let's test out that theory, right?
yeah.
So he
Because
Dream,
he thinks that after 100 years he's gonna want to fucking die. He's gonna
yeah,
like be like, "Hey, kill me."
yeah.
But and he
So
says to the guy, "Every 100 years, I'm gonna meet you in this spot, and we're gonna talk." And every 100 years, the first couple of 100 years, the guy is like, "This is fucking great, fucking everything. I'm eating everything, doing
yeah,
everything because I can't die." So he's like, for the first like, what is it, like 500 years or something? And
yeah.
then he
He
starts making money and doing all this shit. And
that
then
then he
one
yeah.
of the 100 years, he's poor. He's like a fucking beggar. Like he loses all his shit,
His
and he's like,
family's dead.
his
Yeah,
family's
like
dead. He's miserable. He's like, this fucking sucks. Blah blah blah. And that, but he's still. It shows that he still kind of continues, and they still meet each other. But at the same time, there's some other faction that's realizing that this keeps happening because
mhm.
like people like take drawings of them, take pictures of them, do all these things, and then he gets captured. So like in the time he gets captured, the tavern, which becomes a bar, which becomes a restaurant, then shuts down. Then like so it evolves just like the world does.
Well, before that, because again, every 100 years he asks him if he still wants to live. He keeps saying yes. But then there was 1 year before he got captured, the 100 years before that, where he had an argument with the guy.
Oh right, right,
And
right.
then that's why he was just like, I'm not your friend. I'm not, because he was trying to be Dream, like trying to be like, I'm not your friend. Like, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like,
This
don't
is
ever
just a
call me
fucking
that.
game to me.
I'm
Yeah.
not, yeah. And then he got captured. The guy thought you know, uh, thought he wasn't coming. And because the guy that was being immortal said, no, you're going to be back here in 100 years. And if you are, that means we're friends. So he doesn't come, but the guy still goes to another tavern since that one closed down. And Dream meets him there after the talk with Death
Yeah.
and ends up sitting down and talking to him. And I guess
They
they
become
became
friends.
friends.
Yeah.
And then,
Yay, friendship.
yeah. um,
But yeah, that's
and
about it. It's just like a series, and that's why I thought it was going to be
well,
continuing because it was like,
what they
well,
it could have, because in the tavern in the past there was a guy Shakespeare.
yeah,
So there's another story in the comic books where he actually, when he had that conversation in the tavern with the Shakespeare guy,
yeah.
he gave him dreams to write the plays. So he
Well,
was,
there's always this uh thing that Shakespeare didn't really write all those plays,
mm,
that either he stole them or there was somebody else that he wrote them with. There's
okay,
always been that.
yeah.
There's
So
always
they,
been some sort of like mythological thing that like, oh, it was a woman that wrote them and he just acted like he did because women aren't allowed to do shit like that, or like, no, it was his friend who was like, whatever. It was
yeah,
always some bullshit
yeah.
that
So
Shakespeare
that
didn't
that could
actually
have been
write.
another story. And the last episode that you missed was two short stories. One with a cat. There was a little. It starts out with a little kitten, and a stray cat says, "Hey, come outside! Like she's gonna talk to us today." And I guess it was like this random cat that tells her story about talking with, like, she had kittens, and she was a house cat, and
Yeah,
she mated with like a stray cat, so her kittens were mutts, right?
yeah,
So the human owners, saw that she had babies, took the babies in a bag and threw them in the ocean or whatever. And she said, I felt it, like, in the cat's talking, like, I felt it. I felt them die in that bag in the cold by themselves. And she
that's
left the
sad.
house. and she went into the dreaming and talked to Dream, and Dream was a big cat, and basically said the world wasn't how it is now with humans. It used to be humans were very small like you are now, and cats were humongous and used to play with the humans and feed on the humans and all the stuff.
We were little mices.
But he said that one day the humans got an idea and they all started dreaming and like in unison and changed the world to what it is now, like just by their mental dreaming and whatever. So that cat, the story is basically that cat trying to get all the other cats to think the same so it could be like the old times, right? So that was a really short story. And then the other one, because they only had two, was the story of some guy captured a muse from like Greek mythology to give him inspiration to write. So I think there's something that happened with a binding spell kind of thing. So this guy ends up like forcing himself on her and all that stuff. And once you, I guess, have sex with a muse or something like that, it inspires you to write. And
That
he,
sounded like somebody hit something.
yeah. And then he's giving the muse to another guy that like wrote one book and then couldn't think of nothing else. He did the same exact thing, but they find out like she's trying to ask for the other like Greek gods for help, but they're like, we can't help you, like you're bound to him. So asks the dream, and then they because the dream and her had a thing. So and then I think in the comic books they had a child, and then the child died and all this shit. So Dream and her weren't getting along, but after when she was captured, Dream was already captured. So they said, "Oh, we can't help you, and he can't either because the humans got him too." Once he got free, she asked for his like to. He called him. She called him to hit her, and I guess he was remorseful about what happened. Helped her out. Like basically, the guy said, "Who's him?" Because he was in the house. And it's just like, oh, this is Morpheus, this is the king of dreams kind of thing. And he was just like, well, I'm not going to set her free because I need to write more books. And I can't not, I couldn't write books with her. He's like, oh, you want ideas? I'll give you nothing but. So he just flooded him with inspiration and ideas, but he couldn't stop. Like he was like cutting himself to write it on his skin because he didn't have paper. Like he was just like, just let her go, let her go. So he let the girl free, and then the girl was just like, hey, I gotta forgive and forget, So he was just like, just don't keep him like that. He's like, all right, whatever you wish. So he took away all his ideas. So he just forgot everything. Like he was telling the story, like I had some girl captured in my room and blah, blah, blah. Like, and then everyone was like, what are you talking about? He was like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. It's like, he forgot everything. So that was just like two little short stories that were in the comic book. They're kind of cool. But I liked it. I thought it was good. I thought it was very comic book accurate. And I wish they had a second season. It sucks.
Yeah. Really
Would that be any attracted to you, Andrew, to watch any of
No,
that?
I would watch it, but I don't know when I would have the time to actually put time into watching it.
Yeah. They're really quick episodes too.
Are they not an hour? I thought they would be like hour long.
No, I think they're 30 or 45 minutes. They're really short.
So maybe I'll try when I get a chance.
Yeah.